You're not scared of Beloved, you just don't understand it, so let's talk about it. What happens when a mother love runs so deep it comes back from the grave?
Why you leave me? Beloved, I was never gonna leave you.
Now the movie started off with Setha, who is a pregnant mother that just ran from the plantation called Sweet Home, where she was brutally raped and abused by the nephew of the plantation owner, and they beat her so bad that she ended up having a scar on her back that was shaped like a tree. This scar right here. And as Setha was fleeing, she ends up giving birth, and she ends up meeting a white lady who assists her on giving birth, and she ends up naming her daughter after the lady Denver. Setha's end up found by Baby Shook and her husband. They end up taking her in for 28 days, and on the 29th day, the nephew and the plantation owner end up showing up to get Setha, her two sons, her daughter Beloved, and her daughter Denver. Now, as the nephew and the plantation owner are looking for Setha, she ends up running Baby Shook's barn with all of her 4 children, and she does the unthinkable by trying to unalive them, by only successfully unaliving her daughter Beloved. Now, she was arrested and detained and only saved by Baby Shook and the Baldwin family. And the only reason why she was saved is because they loved Baby Shook so much and that they respected her. Now, Setha ends up getting her own home with her children, her 2 sons, and her daughter, Denver. And they end up staying at this house, but the house was not a loving home. The house was literally haunted by a haint. And a haint in the hoodoo community means a spirit that means you know well. And when I mean that the spirit was turning her every way but loose, it truly was.
Howard Bugler!
It had got so bad to the point where her sons ended up leaving because they was like, hell no, this was just too much. It's absolutely chaotic. And it was just Setha and Denver. Now we end up meeting Pauly D as he comes in from Sweet Home. He tries to rekindle and reconnect with Setha. Now, as he comes into the house, he's like, girl, what type of evil you got in here?
God, girl. What kind of evil you got in there?
It ain't evil. Just sad. Come on.
Because the house, he can feel it. He can see it. It's red. He can see all these images that he really is not trying to connect with. He's really trying to overlook everything. You know, he traveled for a long time. He like, whatever. This is crazy, but I'm trying to see what's going on with Setha. But like I said, Denver and Setha were just terrified. So at this point, Pauly D was like, you know what? I'm going to just cast out this haint. So that's what he did. He ended up casting out the haint, and what happened? He ended up manifesting into Beloved. And if y'all all remember the scene where Beloved is coming up out the water, you know, she's walking up to the house and she's basically waiting for them to get there. And as they walk up, they're looking like, what is going on? Like, who is that? What? And Beloved, she's a little different. She's a little slower. Nothing is really making any sense. But they welcome her in with open arms, especially Setha. You know, after everything that she's gone through, she already, you know, lost her daughter. Her sons are gone. All she has is Denver. So she pretty much just takes her in. So now it's basically the 3 of them, and they're trying to be one big happy family. She becomes completely obsessed with Beloved and loving her and giving everything that she needs. And Beloved ends up putting a root on Setha and Pauly D, causing Pauly D to end up being seduced by Beloved. And we all know the scene where she was like, touch me on the inside part and call me by my name. Yeah. And then Pauly D was just like, this is getting insane. There's something wrong with Beloved. But she also put the root on Setha. So Setha starts becoming like almost like naive to the situation. Meanwhile, Pauly D and Seth are getting really, really close. They're falling in love. He ends up trying to show her off to his friends, and they're telling him like, bro, you don't know what she did. She literally unalived her child. And yeah, no, we don't really mess with her like that. So he like, oh, that's why you got this evil in your house. That's why it's a Hank. That's why Beloved is here. He's kind of all piecing it all together, and he leaves. So now it's just Denver, Setha, and Beloved. Now, Beloved is becoming out of control. She's becoming angrier by the day. Setha is completely drained. She's isolated. She's not getting up. She's not making any money. Like, you know, and this is making her very angry because remember, in the beginning, they had to give the sweet treat to the Hank to basically appease it. So once the sweet treats ran out, Beloved became like, she just was crashing out. And Denver becomes stressed. All the weight ends up falling on her. She has to find a job. She's basically forced to take care of the household. And she's like, you know what? This is too much for me. I need to find Baby Suge. I need to find a community because I can't handle it anymore. So they find Baby Suge. They find the elders in the community. They find other women. And they do what's called a Terrigen service. And that's what you can see at the ending of the movie where they're chanting and they're praying and they're all basically surrounding the house and they're not going down without a fight. And neither is Beloved because if you can remember, she's standing on the porch, she's pregnant, she's screaming, and she wasn't trying to let go. And what they do, they started laying hands on the situation. They started praying and everybody came together and they ended up completing the mission. Baby Suge quilt falls. We can see the butterflies emerge and Beloved is gone. Then we see Paul D at the ending and him and Setha are trying to rekindle, trying to move on with a better life. Denver finally is free and she's able to try to move forward and try to live a normal life. And we kind of just see it all in right there for what it is. Beloved isn't just a person. She's a manifestation of something that was never healed. The movie also shows just because slavery ended doesn't mean the chains came off. Trauma sometimes get passed down like heirloom. This film really wakes something in your spirit. It really shifts something in you. It's very monumental. It's a moving experience. And it's something that I feel like we need to give a second chance. We need to give some grace. And you can let me know in the comments another movie that I should do a review on. Comment down below and let me know.